Hi, it's Kathy, and I'm back with another edition of Tippin' on Tuesday. Today I'm going to show you a fun way to use your blocks as a stamp. And so we're going to create this look using our blocks. And I'll show you another couple of little recommendations on this card. So let's get started. So you will need a piece of the new Grapefruit Grove cardstock that measures 8.5 by 5.5 for your card. You'll need a piece of the Coastal Cabana, and I am thrilled to death that this color is back. It was always been one of my favorites, and it is 4 inches by 5.25 inches, and it's been run through the Big Shot with the Seaside embossing folder. And you'll notice that the two sides give it a very different look. And in this instance, we're going to use the back side for this card. You'll also need a piece of 4 by 5.25 inch Whisper White for the inside of the card. You'll need a piece of Whisper White that measures 2 5/8 by 4 inches. And then you're going to need some scrap pieces or one piece, and it will be used for the sentiment and stamping the boat and the sun. You'll also finally need a piece of the Bermuda Bay and one similar of the Coastal Cabana that is large enough for the Swirly Scribbles die to go in. So you want it to be about 2 inches by about 6 inches. And what I have done is I have cut one of each of those. And in this card, we have the die itself in the Bermuda Bay, and we have filled in with the Coastal Cabana colors. And so I'm taking what's left from that one, and we're going to use that on this card. So it's going to be an opposite of that card. And that way you're not wasting all these pieces of cardstock. So let's get started with this technique. And so I'm using this Whisper White piece that's 2 5/8 by 4. And you're going to take your block, and this is a G block. I'm going to get a piece of foam cushion to kind of slide underneath here because I do want some cushioning. So I'm going to take this block, and I'm going to also use our new chamois, and it's wonderful. It's thick, and all you do is, I'm holding mine in my case. It's not airtight, so it hopefully won't get musty. If it is, I may cut some holes in it, but it's a great place to have it. This staining is going to happen. That's okay. It's not going to hurt. You just go and add this to under your sink and get it wet, and then squeeze it out as much as you possibly can, and then use it. Now, this has been like 5 days, and it still is good. But this is a great thing, especially for this kind of technique. So the first thing I'm going to do is get out my Bermuda Bay ink, and I'm going to ink up my block and put it down here at the bottom and press pretty firmly so that that ink really kind of moves. And then I'm going to clean it off on my chamois. And then I'm going to go to the Coastal Cabana ink and ink it up again. And do the same thing just above that one. Trying to keep them straight. Clean it off. My next one will be Grapefruit Grove. And And I'll continue to repeat with the yellows. So my yellows are the new Pineapple Punch. And then Daffodil Delight. Oh, step that one kind of off the edge. That's okay. And the final one is Crushed Curry. Now, as you can see, I have a little bit more of a gap at the top than I do at the bottom on this one. And that can just be trimmed off. So we can just put that in the cutter and trim that off. And I'll do that off camera in a couple of minutes. So we can go ahead and place this piece on to our card. And I don't recommend you using a snail or a fast fuse adhesive because it will tear the paper because of the breakdown of the embossing folder. So liquid glue is a great thing to use when you've got embossing folders. So we'll go ahead and put that down. Just like that. And on our scrap pieces, let's do some stamping. So first of all, I need a Just For You that is from the A Good Day stamp set. And I'm going to stamp that on Whisper White, but I'm also going to stamp it on a scrap piece of Bermuda Bay. And that will be punched out using the 1 3/8 scallop circle punch. So I've already done that. So let me get the ink pad for that. And hopefully I can line this up. I guess I shouldn't have punched it first, but not bad. And then get our chamois out. Clean that off. And then on the Whisper White, we'll be using our Memento ink. And stamp that. And that will be punched out using the 1-inch circle punch. Just like that. Now that's ready to go. So now let's go ahead and we're going to stamp 2 of the suns using the Grapefruit Grove, and they will be then cut out of the using the dies. So we're going to stamp a couple of those, and then I'll cut those out off camera. And then finally we're going to do pieces of the boat. So the base of the boat is going to be in Memento ink. I'll do 2 of those. Now these are all going to be cut out, each individual piece, so I can just stack them on it like that. The jib sail, the smaller sail, I'm going to do in Bermuda, and I'll put it here and another one here. And then finally we'll do this sail, and I'm going to use the striped one first because it's easier to see that. And we'll put one there. And another one here. And then we'll get the Coastal Cabana ink. And do this solid part of the sail. Just like that. And then finally, we'll get the flag and do that in Bermuda Bay and do a couple of those. And then we'll cut all that out. Next, I'm going to take a piece of the linen thread that is about 24 inches long, and I'm going to wrap it, leaving a little bit of a tail over here on the right side, and I'm going to wrap it around 3 times and then tie a bow on the right side here. And I'm going to trim off the excess. And then put some dimensionals on the back. So that can go here. And the Just For You can go in the bottom corner here. And one of the suns, which I have on a dimensional, will go up here. And then finally, one of the boats, here's the base of the boat, and all of these pieces are on dimensionals. And I'm going to place it right at the top of the Coastal Cabana. And then the sail. And the other sail. Just like that. And then before I put the flag on, I'm going to take a marker and my ruler, and place that in here and mark out a mast for the boat. And I'm going to move it over just a little bit so that I can get a little thicker mast. Just like that. And then finally the little flag at the top, and that's just a little tiny cut piece of dimensional to get that. There we go. So there's the outside of the card. Let's get started on the inside. So for the inside, you need to go ahead and get your pieces of the die that you cut. And as you can see, I even kept this straight edge one here. So that's, I want to keep that. Or actually, I'm going to need the one from the Bermuda Bay. So because it's right up against this edge, I want to set that first. I would recommend you not be quite so close. Just give it a little bit more than I did there. But we'll go ahead and glue this down at the bottom, and we're going to be trimming all that off. And then I can figure out exactly that will fit right up against it there. Okay, so then I'll go ahead and glue this down. In place just like that. And then you'll get your pieces from the other die and start placing them. Now it's sometimes kind of fun to try and figure out exactly where they came from. So there's that one. And then this one is in here. Like that. And you can, put the glue in the gaps, or you can put it on the back of them, whichever you want to do. And there. Now you can see that there's some gapping here, so what you want to do is just kind of get this done quickly enough that you can move these other pieces kind of into position. It must be this one over here. Just didn't fit right over there. There we go. And then I'll pick that up and trim off the leftovers. Okay, and then we can put our second boat on. And again, don't forget to get in there and give yourself a mast. And your flag. And your final year sun. Like that, and then that can go on the inside of your card. And there is your card. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Tippin' on Tuesday. Have a great week, and we'll see you again next week, or check me out on inkingitupwithcathy.com.